Innovation and women. So I first started with breast cancer when I was 16 years old because I saw pink everywhere, right? But I didn't saw it on my own school or in my own social circle. So I decided to do pink sweatshirts to uniform 10 different private schools. And they bought it and the youth became aware of this. So after it, we did marathons, pink races in which everyone could raise money and participate in the cause. But what we started doing good, obviously it wasn't easy at first. I didn't have any money, contacts or business experience to start, but I noticed that I could solve it, just dive into it and do ideas worth doing, not ideas worth sharing only. So it went great. We started doing a lot of fun, spending a lot of money, but we didn't know what to do with them, We were 16-year-old boys that we didn't have any experience or contacts to allocate them efficiently. So what we did is that we went with other foundations and we donated through them, and that way we could help more women together. But doing this, I noticed the lack of participation of men in breast cancer associations or as executives or whatever. So I decided to do something to engage other men in the fight against breast cancer. So I started the first professional car racing team in Latin America that raises a non-profit to benefit of a social cause. It's called Pink Life Racing. And we already have free cars and men from all over Mexico engage and go to our races and participate to support breast cancer, right? So this got the ideas and the creativity flowing again. And I started my first non-profit organization. It's called Green Life, to help the environment, getting inspired by my father and understanding that with technology we could help ecology, right? So we do recommendations and programs that universities and schools already apply, like sending mails instead of printing stuff and basic things, and also like more technical things. My fourth non-profit organization is Life Republic, in which I noticed that what I was doing isn't philanthropy, it's social innovation. What I mean by this is that I'm not only like bringing my material resources and giving it to an institution, but I'm creating, developing sustainable solutions to the problems that affect us most, right? Not only with my material resources, but with my ideas and hard work. So I went and searched for other social innovators, and I found them, and we did a club of best practices, common obstacles that we could share and help each other, and together we were really stronger. That's Life Republic. And finally, a couple of months ago, I went to the Youth Assembly of the United Nations. I met a Mexico representative there, and I met with a good friend of mine, Ravi Karkara. He's a global expert on youth of the United Nations. And we were talking about how gender equality is an issue that concerns both men and women, because it benefits both men and women. But nowadays, we have the biggest youth bulge in the world. More than 1 billion young men between 15 and 30 years old. We're entering the post-2015 agenda, right? And that will, because the post-MDG, exactly. And these young men don't have an official representation on matters of gender equality. So by aligning with the He for She United Nations Women campaign, supporting them and other institutions, we're giving young men everywhere in the world a voice on this. So basically that's a catch and the story, and it's all about what they say and what I said earlier. It's about ideas worth doing, not about ideas worth spreading. And obviously you're going to encounter many obstacles and difficulties, but that is what makes it fun, and that is what makes it your learning experience fascinating, And also I wanted to state that obviously everyone is interested. I am also an interested person, like everyone else, I have learned a lot of things. Basically, I'm here because of my foundations, right? If not, you wouldn't even know me. So I resigned to my salary the first 3 years, and now I still don't want a salary because I'm 19 years old. I believe that I don't need it now. But one thing that I believe greatly, and that's where I meet young boys, Nexus, we try to do in the Nexus Global Youth Summit and other institutions. It's our responsibility to make social help align with lucrative that's social business, Because if we don't do a social help, something sustainable, and I don't receive a benefit, then when I need to maintain my family, I'm going to close my foundations and be like a lawyer or something like that, But if a lawyer can live a great life and be on a yacht, then I think that the guy that is solving the issue of toilets in Africa, then he should be also on a yacht and living a fantastic life, right? So that is my life mission, to turn philanthropy into something more efficient and to make it lucrative as well. Social help, yeah.
What's your biggest dream in terms of impact?
My biggest dream of terms on impact is basically putting the information on the table to the 1 billion young men we have in the world about gender equality, because my how do you say it, my engage here is not the negative part or the violence or this or that. My engage here is to make them understand the benefits that gender equality brings directly to them in economical concerns, like let's say how many women entrepreneurs like yourself open a company and employ many other young men and develop the world, right? The other one, social constraints. We need more women doing solving social issues, basically, and leading social enterprises and foundations, because if not, we'll have more than half of our world workforce limited in terms of solving our issues, and we're not going to be on time. Final, well, number 3, it's political. Now, the only country that has a majority of women in parliament is Rwanda, and they're doing great. It's a less corrupt country in East Africa, and they did a great leap, but like in Mexico, we're in Mexico now, right? We have 32 federal entities, and none of them are governed by a woman. We have more than 60 million women in Mexico. So just by statistics, it doesn't make any sense. So what I believe is not women need to be in politics because they're women, but we must have the best person in politics because they are a person. And I want more women to contend into this, right, and give us more options, and democratic options, right? Finally, I always say economical, social, political, cultural. 4 out of 100 Nobel Prizes are women. Only 4 out of 100. I don't remember the women Greek philosophist or a Roman jurist that was a woman. We get greatly benefited as young men by women cultural appropriations, and we need to open the door for them. So these are the concerns I have, and I think that by showing young men the benefits, the direct benefits they have by applying a gender equality lifestyle, because it's not like a vaccine, This is a problem that we have had since the start of humanity. So this is a lifestyle and a cultural shift. It is a life mission. And I think that discrimination is the thing that the most affects the world, right? It stops us from progress. And when we are able to look ourselves in a mirror and see a person, not a man or a Mexican or a 19-year-old guy or a rich, poor, whatever class or even ethnicity, it doesn't matter, religion. What matters here is that we're all persons, and if we're all able to treat everyone as persons, then that is my biggest